The booksellers are crying foul. Reason being is that they say that they have not received any sort of payment since third term last year, or rather third term 2018, and now first term 2019. So for them, now that schools are reopening as from today, the 29th day of April, they're saying that distribution of books, and then again now that the government has decided to supply or rather distribute books directly to schools, they're saying this will have a great impact on them. But on Friday, they actually had a meeting, the Kenya Booksellers and Stationers Association, drawn from over 15 chapters. And joining me here is Andrew Kariuki, who is the chairman, Booksellers Association Nakuru chapter, just to tell us more about what they deliberated on and the next action that they are going to take. Thank you for joining us. Maybe you could start off with, you had that meeting on Friday. What is the way forward?
We had a meeting on Friday to map our way forward. By the way, my name is Albert Kimani, not Karaoke. We had a meeting on Friday to map out our strategies on how to recover what we are owed by the government. We have tried our level best to have a meeting with the ministry, and particularly so the CS, to see ways and means of how not to kill the books industry. Bookshops are dying. And in Nakuru here, for example, we have had 8 bookshops closing. They have closed just because their major business was with the government. In my shop here, for example, you're only seeing 4 of my workers. I had 10 of them. I have a second shop in the same town that has another 4 instead of the 10 workers. In total, I have lost 12 of my workers. These are people with families and who are suffering. As much as the government would want to make a saving, which I doubt they are, the Kenyan citizens are suffering. As I said earlier, we are taxpayers, we are employers, we are tenants. And here we have a big number of people who are dependent on us. We have also taken loans from banks that we're supposed to repay after the supply. We have stocks. Behind you are stocks that have accumulated for years. These stocks are now the books that already the government is supplying to schools. Had they devised a method of first removing to schools those books that are with the booksellers, it could have been so good, instead of publishers printing others. But this was a scheme that was done by the publishers, who mainly those who do not supply, whose books are not in bookshops, and they got a good wind to supply their books that are not popular with the bookshops to schools. This has happened. One example is a person who has been very vocal on calling booksellers thieves, stealing with head teachers. This is the chairman of KPA, Kenya Publishers Association. You wonder, if you went to any of the bookshops in the Republic, you'll not find any of his books. But he's now very popular in supplying to counties and the government schools. And therefore, these are people who not wish us well. We are suffering because now anybody entering the shop now is only buying stationeries, not textbooks. But you wonder, yesterday a convoy of books was flagged off from Nairobi to a number of counties. This is about 12 million books were given. But nobody's talking about since last year, whether these kids who have come to class 1, those kids who have been there are actually running, because they do not have any other running materials. They do not have exercise books, pencils. Teachers don't have chalk nor biros to mark books. And these books, when delivered, are never delivered to schools. Instead, they are delivered at sub-county headquarters, and the teachers will take the burden to take them to their schools. There's no accountability on the part of the books supplied and how they are maintained in those schools. We used to have a very clear policy on books and how they are distributed and who receives them in schools. Today, those books, even if lost, there's no policy on how to replace them. But we are still urging the government, it's not too late. We have been in the system for long. We've been partners in business, and that's why we have given millions of money in debts to schools because of the former partnership between us and the government. We have been accused of stealing.
Maybe as we wind up, could you tell us what plans are you mooting now that ahead of this that is happening? So are there any plans that you've made as the Kenya Booksellers and Stationers Association?
Yes, we have already started machinery to petition Parliament to see whether they'll hear us, and also go to court if need be, to have all the stocks we have taken back to the publishers who are able now to supply them to the schools. Remember, not all publishers are enjoying the facility of supplying to schools. Only a few are, and they are also very disgruntled. Talk of publishers like Oxford. They have laid out all their staff. Talk of bookshops like Textbook Center. Last year and early this year, they have laid off 350 of their workers. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, Sam and Zinzi, that is the situation here, and him shedding more light about the situation, saying that over 8 bookshops in Nakuru town only have closed shop as a result of the government not paying them their dues, which are accrued since that last year. Him saying that there's need for them to move forward, plans to even have them petition Parliament and see if they will hear them.